Hello, everybody. As you know, I'm Dr. Becky, and I'm going to be talking about how for all of us to have the awakened life. Now, seriously, just raise your hands if you'd like to have an awakened life. Come on, let me see it. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about a few things. I've been on a quest, a journey lately. It's been quite interesting, so I thought, well, let me share it with you. So we're going to talk about how to live in a beautiful state, move from a suffering state into a beautiful state. Now, seriously, who would like to really, really live in a beautiful state? Raise your hands. Like a beautiful state. So how can I say this? It's interesting, you know, sometimes we come here and we want this inspiration. We want to get the spizzerinctum. We want to be like, yeah, chiropractic. And then we go back to our practice and our staff comes in late. Or they don't do something we want them to do. Or our patients are like, yeah, I'm good. I'm going to take a break. And we get into what? A suffering state. So, I'm not here to be some expert on this thing. I am working through this every day. So one of the things that I found is that there's a difference between living in a suffering state and living in a beautiful state. And we're going to talk about it in a minute, but first I'm going to share a story with you. So when I was 6 years old, I was vaccinated going into first grade. And something happened to me. I got really, really thirsty. Really thirsty that I started urinating in my bed. And I urinated in my bed so much that my mom, who's right here, this is my mother, Maggie, everyone, who, may I honor, it was a single mom raising me. Now that's a job, okay? And what would happen is she would turn the mattress over, she'd put plastic covers on it. She was like, you can't drink water at night because you keep urinating in your bed. But I was so thirsty. And I would sneak out to the bathroom when she was downstairs watching TV or in bed, and I'd turn the faucet, I would creak, and I'd put my mouth under it, and the water would run down my mouth, and I'd be like, oh, the thirst, the quenching of the thirst. That's the thirst we need to be champions in life. It hits your mouth. Well, interestingly enough, right? She's a single mom, so I went to a babysitter. And this went on for around 3 months. And I go to the babysitter, I fall asleep, and I go into a coma, a literal coma. And I wake up in the hospital, and I'm juvenile diabetic. And come to find out years later in chiropractic that one of the side effects of vaccines, diabetes. No one has diabetes in my family on either side. So it turns out, she'd measure my food, she'd boil insulin needles for me. They were glass at the time. She'd test my urine. She would do all this stuff. And I was a rebel, man. I was in suffering. I was pissed, I was angry, and I was rageful. And I would eat whatever I want. I would do whatever I want. And it continued from there. I was in what we call a suffering state. So anything besides a beautiful state is a suffering state, period. There's no all this other stuff. And from there, when I was 13, I wanted to be in a beautiful state. So what I did was, outside of my schoolyard, someone was selling some drugs. They're called Secanols. They're like downers. They're like red-orange pills. And he said, take 1 or 2. I was in 8th grade. I said, shit, 6? Oh, get me there quicker. I took them all. And I OD'd in my classroom. And an ambulance came and pumped my stomach. From when I was in 9th grade, I used so many drugs and alcohol that I said to my mom, look, would you send me away to a private boarding school because I need help? So she did. And I actually got through the whole 10th grade until they found out I was growing pot on the roof in big salad bowls, and they kicked me out. From there, I kept drugging and drinking. I didn't have a problem. I love it when people say, I could quit, I just like doing it. When I was 18, 19 years old, I graduated to shooting up drugs. I shot up heroin and cocaine for a year. When I was in a shooting gallery and I looked at a girl trying to shoot up in her toes, I said, oh my God, by the grace of God, there go I. I need help. I am sick, I have a problem. And I went into a 12-step program, into Narcotics Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous. Saved my life. It was the beginning of my awakening. It was the beginning of me beginning to live in a beautiful state. Then, I was 5 years into recovery. A friend of mine in program in Watertown, New York said, hey, I'm going to this chiropractor. And he's doing a talk, and he wants me to bring people. You want to come? And as luck would have it, I went. Now, I've been suffering with pain, and the doctors kept telling me I was fine, and I go in there, and this chiropractor starts saying, hey, you know, if you have blockages, it'll stop the nerve flow from going to your organ cells and tissues, it'll shut down your health and vitality, and boom, a light bulb went off. I was like, oh my goodness, that is super cool, I like this. He goes, you know what, we have an innate intelligence, so intelligent that if you eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, it'll take all the nutrients out of it, put it into your organ cells and tissues, and you'll have health and vitality, and it'll eliminate what you don't need. And I was like, whoa, cool. I want some of that. Of course, he looked at my x-rays and was like, yeah, you got subluxation, that's a blockage. I'm like, oh my God. We need to adjust you for a year. Up there. It was so life-changing that obviously I became a chiropractor, and then I had to marry the guy, Dr. Larry Silverstein. He was that great. When you can get your patients to marry you, you know you're good. So let's take a look. I want to talk about a suffering state because that's when we feel angry, we feel upset, we're disconnected, we feel lack, we feel not good enough, right? We feel all these things written over here. What is a suffering state? It's an I consciousness, little I, little c. It's an I consciousness. It's this, watch. It's me, plus me, plus me. It's all about me. It's how I feel. It's I consciousness. You're suffering. Okay, now versus a beautiful state. What's a beautiful state? Love, peace, joy, calm, connected. Right? That's beautiful. Empathy, compassion, a beautiful state. And you're probably going, yeah, right. But let's talk about it for a minute because this has been my quest and my journey, a beautiful state. So there's 4 things. I mean, in a beautiful state, we can have a oneness consciousness. And what's a oneness consciousness? It's me plus you plus nature, plus the universe. That's what oneness consciousness is. And as much as it seems like a cliche, we can have this every day. And I'm going to give you 4 sacred secrets so that you can have it too. If you want it, if not, just go back to your phones. Okay, so here we go. 4 sacred secrets. The first sacred secret, if you want to write it down, is a spiritual vision. What is a spiritual vision? Well, let me, as the speaker, tell you. It is when you have a vision for your health. Because to be honest with you, if your health is not in alignment, the rest of them, it just damn doesn't matter. Okay? It just doesn't. Love used to be my first thing. So I would do anything for love and my body would go to hell. So if you look at health, and then the next one is relationship, then the next one is wealth, then the next one is career, your profession or your work, and then service. That's what a spiritual vision is. So let's talk about it for a minute. Because if you look at a spiritual vision for relationships, I don't know if you guys know this, but my children are adopted. They look just like me, you would never know it. Right? Because God blessed me and Larry. It's amazing. So here's the deal. I love my husband. He is just the cat's meow. And he is like everything I want to be. That's what I love about him. So here's the thing. He has these relationships with our patients, right? But before I came into the picture, he had this relationship with his family in our practice. And it was so great that they brought their whole family in and their little kids. Well, yeah, they left, and then years later I come into the practice, and we're like, yeah, let's adopt. But we don't know where we're going to adopt from. So God always takes care of us. Trust, right? Beautiful state. So all of a sudden, one of these kids comes into her office, but she's married and she's grown up and married, has kids. And he says to them, you know, we're thinking of adopting. And they go, well, you know, my sister-in-law just adopted from Romania. And they bring the kid in, the sister-in-law, and she is the cutest little thing. And I'm like, oh my God, let's adopt from Romania. Because, you know, I wanted a little girl with dark hair, right? I just did. So, and some, you know, some people, they just say, well, you got to take what you get. And I was like, yeah, no, if I'm going to adopt and pay money, I should at least have a choice. I mean, it sounds weird, but anyway. So anyway, we decide to adopt from Romania. And we adopt from Romania, and we get this agency, and it takes me 4.5 months before the INS papers, the immigration papers, come in. And they come in, and I call Dragos, and I call them over in Boston. I'm like, hey, they came in. And what happens is that I go, can I adopt a little girl with dark hair? And he goes, how about 2? And I go, oh, man. He goes, but you got to fill the papers out all over again. And I go, oh, man. I go, what page? He tells me, and I look, and I go, oh, my God, I marked 2 kids. What happened? Here they are. Here's our little Teodora, Tia, and Mihaela. Some of you have met them from Romania. I'll tell you. Spiritual vision. Let's look at the next one, the power of practice in inner truth. Okay, so I want to talk about this for a minute. What does this mean? This means when you start suffering, you need to feel what you're suffering. You don't want to get through it to the other side. You want to feel what the heck you're feeling. So here's what I did. I felt lack and not good enough. I felt that no one would love me and I wasn't good enough. Where did it come from? I work with Tony Robbins. It's an interesting thing. So he takes you through this process where you go back. I come back. I go back to I'm a little girl. I'm here. I'm a little girl. And my dad comes. When we were 3 years old and we lived in Parsippany, my father came for the first time and says, I want to be in our lives. And my mom's holding me, and she's like, no, leave, get out. She was hurt. She was in pain. And when he left, I felt like, well, he doesn't love me. I'm not good enough. But once I realized and I felt it, I dissolved it. That's what the power and the practice of inner truth is. You dissolve it. You don't run from it because it doesn't leave you. Because now this is what I see. This is what it is now. We can change it. We have to dissolve the bad and bring the good into a beautiful state. So let's look at the next one, the spiritual of right action. Spiritual right action. Let's talk about this. I got a funny story for you. So did you ever do something you're really pissed off or emotional and you're saying things and doing things, you're reacting? Come on, we got to do this. You know, we got to do it. We got patients out there. We got to do this. Come on. And you're like all crazy. Do things in calm, in a beautiful state. If you're not doing it in calmness and in a beautiful state, you have to rethink it. Because here's what happened. I was really upset one time. Larry and my brother-in-law is a chiropractor, Irv, and Jill and I, we went and played golf. Pew, really hot July. And we're driving in the car and I'm like, oh man, let's go here. Let's go to the swimming pool. And they're like, no, I don't want to. And I'm in the back seat and I'm getting really upset. Like, you don't want to get me upset. Because I am not a fun person to be around. People have been around me upset. It's not good. And so I'm getting more and more upset. And Larry, of course, being the amazing man that he is, says to me, if you guess the next song on the radio, I'll buy you a car. And I guessed Billy Joel. It wasn't Billy Joel. He goes, all right, I'll give you a second chance. And this is the, and I, wait. And I go, the Beatles. And this is the song that came on the radio. And I had a dreadful flight. I'm back in the USSR. You don't know how lucky you are. Yeah, we're back in the USSR, baby. Oh my goodness, I won an Audi. An Audi. You want to talk about going from a suffering state to a beautiful state? Oh my God, it was instantaneous. Damn. So think of that when you're getting pissed off. Think of that Audi, baby. Okay, the last one is connection. So let's talk about this for a minute. Connection, spiritual connection. Check out Muhammad Ali. Look what he said. I hate every minute of training. Don't quit, suffer now, and live the rest of your life as a champion, like that thirst I had, like a champion. Connect with your body. Connect with your relationships. Love your body. Love your relationships. Love your patients. Connect. So let's look at a few things here. The difference between living in a beautiful state and a suffering state, I-ness consciousness, or oneness consciousness, right? Pretty simple. Who wants to live in a beautiful state? Come on, baby. Yes. Okay, so you're to live in a beautiful state. Would you like me to share with you the way that I live in beautiful state? Okay, we're going to take 3 minutes. We're going to do a meditation. Why? It's called the Serene Mind Meditation. Let's look at it. So let's talk about it for a minute. You have to take at least 3 minutes, come on, to meditate and get into yourself. So I'm going to put this meditation on, and let's all get comfortable for a minute, if you could put it on. And let's do a meditation for 3 minutes. This is Prita G. She's pretty.
Serene mind practice. Whenever you are distracted and disturbed, do the serene mind. Whenever you are preoccupied with the past or the future, do the serene mind. Whenever you want to return to calm, do the serene mind. It is 3 minutes to a serene state of mind. Please sit still with your spine erect. Gently close your eyes. Let us practice conscious breathing for 3 cycles. Let your exhalation be longer than your inhalation. Recognize the exact emotion that is arising within you now. Is it irritation, anxiety, or confusion? Or is it joy, gratitude, or love? Observe the direction of the movement of your thinking. Is it entangled in the past or the future, or is it in the present? Now move your attention to your eyebrow center Visualize or feel a tiny flame move from your eyebrow center into the middle of your brain. Hold your attention on this flame in the middle of your brain for a few moments. Whenever you are ready, you may smile and slowly open your eyes.
Thank you.
Give it up.